I've just lit in the wood-fired oven. That's going to take a while to fire up because we need to get to about 600 degrees. There's the ingredients for the flatbreads. It's pretty much a pizza dough, which we will roll very, very thinly so it puffs up and makes delicious flatbreads. And in the oven inside, I'm going to cook a very slow shoulder of pork. So it should be phenomenal. Slow cooked pork, or pulled pork it will be, inside homemade flatbreads. It'll be great. So we've got about 700 grams of flour in there, 2 teaspoons of yeast, half a teaspoon of sugar, a teaspoon of salt, and obviously water to help it combine. We'll make the dough, we'll knead it, and then we'll let it sit for about an hour and a half to double in size, and then carry on. Okay, now we're firing. That should be ready about an hour, up to the temp, and about the same time as the dough's ready. So we'll come back. So just have to knead the dough and let it sit for about an hour and a half to double in size. Okay, so what we've done is season that shoulder of pork in salt and pepper. We're going to put it into the oven at about 260, which is pretty high, for about half an hour to start the cooking process. Then we're going to turn it down to about 160, 140, cook for about an hour, and then I'm going to wrap it in foil, cover it over, and cook it for another 2 or 3 hours until it falls apart. Looking forward to it. So the shoulder's been in the oven for about 40, 45 minutes. What we're going to do is wrap it in some alfoil, turn the heat right down to about 120, and probably cook it for about another 3, maybe 4 hours. So I'll wrap it. I can't wrap it holding the phone, so I'll wrap it and it'll go in the oven. So the oven's down to about 120. It's obviously wrapped now. And we're going to put it back in. And we're going to leave it in there for, let me think, about 3 or 4 hours, because we want to go low and slow. So we'll get on with the flatbreads. Okay, the dough's risen now to, well, probably just over double its size. I'm going to punch that down. I'm going to roll out some flatbreads, and unlike pizza, I'm not going to use my hands. I'm going to use a rolling pin because I want it to be very, very thin and flat. And when they go into the wood-fired oven, they will puff up very quickly. They take about 30, 40 seconds to cook in the wood-fired oven, and they'll be fantastic. Thought I'd just show you where we're doing the cooking. This is our backyard. Bit of space for the kids and stuff, and there's the oven over there in the corner. And that's where it's all taking place tonight. Well, with the flatbreads anyway. I'll come back and let's all enjoy together. So I've split the dough up now and put them in balls, which we're going to roll up to the flatbreads. And so that's 700 grams of flour made, I think it's a dozen balls for flatbreads. So let's bake. So we're going to roll the dough. Now, unlike pizza, where I do it by hand to make it fluffy and thick, flatbreads you want to make thin. The yeast will make them rise anyway, but you want them super thin. They're going to be, they still puff up because of the yeast. And these don't take long, so we've got a flat board just with or a pizza paddle with a flour on it, so it slides. Just going to put a couple of things on top, just a second. So just a little bit of Popeye's girlfriend. Give that a bit of a swish so it's all over. And then a bit of sea salt. Then we're going out to the oven. Woohoo! Something sort of rusticy about cooking with a wood-fired oven, isn't there? Especially breads. They really go together. We're getting there. We're down to 4 left, 8 done. So Soph and I add a couple along the way because they're pretty nice. But that's the flatbreads where Gonna wait now for the pulled pork. Nice. Okay, so what we've got is, like, it's not far away. It's probably gonna take another hour. Like, that pretty much is falling apart. But we might leave it for a while. I think we're gonna do another hour and a half undercover with the foil, and it should be getting very, very close. Yes, I'm gonna grab this a little bit because it seems to be falling apart quite easily. Yeah, let's get it on the board and have a look. Okay, so I think it's done. Let's have a look. Yep, pull apart. 2 forks. Yay. We'll pull that apart, make some gravy, and we're done. So there's some pretty good drippings in there from the meat, and we're going to use those as part of the gravy. Gravy time. So water, my favourite stock, the Maggi rich gravy mix, salt and pepper, and don't ever have a roast pork gravy without apple sauce inside it. It is beautiful. So the gravy is pretty much cooked, but now what we put in there, it's like you can't cook without your chook. You shouldn't make gravy for pork without apple sauce involved. And if you don't have apples on your plate, I tell you what, putting apple sauce in your gravy with pork, and any pork, this isn't a beef or a lamb thing, but putting pork in your putting apple in your pork gravy is sensational. Just make sure you put lots of pepper as well. We're going to pull apart the pork now and chuck it in there. Look at that. That is just, yeah, what can you say? That's falling apart. So I'm just going to pull this apart now and put it in the gravy, and we're nearly done. Okay, so let me just tell you that I've just tried that. That is, like, seriously, that is sensational. I don't know if I've ever cooked a better slow cooked pork like that. Let's put some in there. One of the flatbreads. The gravy. The tender pork. Okay, I'm calling it. That's Jono's. Slow cooked pork in gravy with homemade flatbreads, done and dusted. I can't believe how tasty that is. That is sensational, like, seriously. Yeah, no flatbread, just tomorrow that's going to turn into roast pork with apple sauce gravy rolls. Oh my God. Sensational. Enjoy. Done and dusted.